Happy Halloween, everybody. As always, it is Brett and Jordan, or should I say it is Dick Grayson and not JJ Spawn. Uh, Jordan, it's been a while since we've done a show. Uh, well, 2 weeks for me. I think 4 weeks for you. How have you been?
I've been good, man. Just watching this team. I think it's been three. I feel like we won a game and then I was on, and then we lost a game and then I was on. But things are looking good, man. I'm excited. The Dolphins play football tomorrow.
They do, and the theme of this show is going to be positivity because we really haven't had a lot of time to be positive about the Dolphins, and there was a lot to be positive about on Sunday. I have no complaints about the team. I think you saw a bunch of young players starting to develop. Jonah still wasn't good, but you saw the high end potential with him for the first time, I think, this year in the run game. And I think you saw, obviously, Tua was good. Now you have all the jokes about everybody wanting him to get pink eye. But I think we're at the point where you can honestly say there is a good coach in Mike McDaniel somewhere, but a lot of reason for optimism going into the game tomorrow. That being said, the Ravens are completely healthy, so I am not looking forward to the game, but it's nice not to have to complain about the team for a week.
Yeah, you definitely have a week where you're not complaining about the team as much. I don't think this changes a ton from what we talked about a couple weeks. Where remember, if you remember when we were on, I said there are three tiers to winning. There was the bottom rung, which was beating the Jets; the second rung, which was beating a team I had said at the time Carolina, but beating a team like Atlanta, and then there's being competitive with a good team. And with Lamar healthy, with everybody healthy in Baltimore, that defense finally had a good week against Chicago. And with all those things considered, I think we're in for a tall test Thursday night. And I don't think this is your typical game between 2-6 teams.
No, and I do think if Mike McDaniel calls a game like he did on Sunday, which he finally did what you and I were asking for and committed to running the ball.
Absolutely.
If he calls another game like that, we can, I'm not saying we will, but we can beat anybody. And my exact words in the Discord, if you remember, were the rest of the season could be fun and should be fun if we stick to that. The concern with Mike, though, is we said the same thing after the Jets game, and we went back a couple weeks to the bang our head against the wall play calling. But you can see that the talent is not as far off as some people may think.
Well, we've always known the talent was relatively there, and I think that's what was the most frustrating for all of us. And I don't think that Sunday was necessarily everybody go take a victory lap. We're back, but I think it was nice and enjoyable to see, like, hey, like what we all believed was there is there somewhere, and we need to be able to replicate it on a weekly basis. And I don't think that a win against an Atlanta team that had the ghost of Kirk Cousins and no Drake London, I don't think that is a cause for, all right, everybody's safe, let's run this back another year. But I think that it's definitely a step off the ledge and a step in the right direction. But I think there's still pressure in the building to compete tomorrow night. You have to hang in there against what's going to be a very, very hungry Baltimore team.
Yeah. And let's also say this, because I saw a little bit back and forth on social media this week where people are like, oh, you should be wanting the Dolphins to lose. Oh, the Jets won, so the Dolphins would have the first overall pick. I believe we fell down to fifth currently right now. Look, again, anybody who does a podcast, you can ask anybody who does this for fun with the team. You just want a day to be positive. Or a week. For the first time all season, I could watch a game on Sunday, and I didn't just turn off football when we were done. I was able to have fun. Shout out to Green Machine, who summed it up great.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It doesn't really change anything. I think the pressure's still there. And you just keep fighting week to week. And like I said, you have a really tough Baltimore team coming in tomorrow night, and you have to hang in there and put in a good effort, or Sunday's blowout win means nothing.
Yeah. And Jordan, I believe we're halfway through the season roughly right now. This might be a little easy because not a lot of people have been good this year. It might be easy because not a lot of people have been good this year. But on the spot, I'm just thinking about this. Halfway through the season, who are your top 5 Dolphins performers for the season so far?
Top 5, and this is going to be off the cuff, so this is not in any particular order. I would say Achane has to be up there, just simply because, I mean, he's our best playmaker, and he's consistent, and he's doing things on a weekly basis that helps the team win. Patrick Paul is up there. I think that if nothing else, we have a left tackle for the next couple of years. And we have a guy that's going to be a captain on this team for the next couple of years. And I think that's what you want to see. I don't know if really looking down at this, there's, other than Jordan Brooks, anybody that you can pick on the defensive side of the ball because of how that side is played. But I do think Jordan Brooks, he won, Defensive Player of the Week this past week. He leads the league in tackles. I think he's still right there at the top. And I think that he is, again, a player that is going to be a captain on this team for the next couple of years. So you have Achane, you have Brooks, you have Patrick Paul. I mean, you can throw Jalen Waddle in there if you want, just because he, again, is a playmaker and has good things he's done. And I think that more so speaks to the way the team has played, and that's not really in a good way. And because of that, I'll say that the 5th, just because I need to throw somebody in, is Jake Bailey.
Okay. Yeah. So I was actually wrong. I thought we signed Jordan Brooks to a 2-year deal. Apparently it was a 3-year deal. So we have him under contract for another year, which is good. That was probably since Zach Thomas, the best I've seen a linebacker ever play.
Oh, yeah. He's playing out of his mind. Not only is he playing out of his mind, Sunday was the best he's played.
Yep. What's up, Carpet Dinosaur? Making friends on Twitter as always. The official mascot of the dive bar. Now at this point, he's kind of abandoned us / upgraded to dive bar and Tranquilo Sports. Brewer's been fine. I think he's had a couple mistakes that keep me from putting him in the top 5. Jordan, mine, I will agree with you on Achane. I will agree with you on Patrick Paul. I'm surprised at how low Paul's been grading, but I think the fact that you have a left tackle, and again, this might be perception too, because I don't want to hide anything. Like, we don't want to rewrite history. Everybody was pretty much down on Patrick Paul in the draft. Like I said, you remember what that draft was like, how miserable people were. And yeah, I agree with you. He's going to be a captain. The fact that he's already doing the media tells you what everybody thinks of him. I think those 3 are the top. Achane Brooks, and Paul. I'll throw Jalen Waddle. I think sometimes people forget how good Jalen Waddle is. You'd like to see him get more catches, but he is absolutely still super, like, he's still a big play guy, and stats show without Tyreek Hill, he is absolutely number 1. So I'll put him 4. And number 5, I'll put Rasul Douglas.
Yeah. It's a good show.
He had a bad game against the Panthers, but I think that was more communication schematically, because he would take the deep man and was just giving up stuff short, or he'd take the short man and give stuff up deep. So I think that was more about the scheme. So I put those 5. Brewer deserves a shout. Tua, for all his struggles at time, he did put us in position to win the Chargers game. Came off with the 4 touchdowns this past weekend. I kind of was hoping for him to get that 5th at the end, but I wouldn't put Tua in there. Minka's had a good season, but I want to see more from a safety. I need to see more game-breaking plays. Same with Jalen Phillips, who I have been tough on this year. He's been getting a lot of pressure. I know sacks aren't everything, and everybody will tell you that. Sacks can be circumstantial, but we definitely need more sacks from anybody on the D line. So I would say those are my 5. But yeah, Jake Bailey, we were all ready to get rid of Jake Bailey. He came out and won the job, and Kev's not here, but I'll say this: I feel kind of bad putting him on blast like this, but he was very against the hiring of Ackerman as special teams coach. And as he said this week, Craig Ackerman's making the Dolphins special teams one of the best in the NFL.
Yeah, no, the special teams. It's nice to not have to worry about the special teams. You know, Riley Patterson's played well. Jake Bailey's played well. Everything essentially to this point. I mean, look, you had the couple bonehead plays, but I don't think that was on the special teams coordinator, especially looking at those bonehead plays being from a guy like Judon and a guy like Sealer, who are your top line guys who should know better. So I think as far as the things that Offman can control, I think he's been great to this point.
Yeah. And another guy we can throw in there, Malik Washington, probably a Pro Bowler as a special teams player.
Yeah.
Without looking, but
which is funny because we thought going in that D. Eskridge would be the special teams guy that would really stand out, but it's been Malik for sure.
Yep. And Malik finally got his receiving touchdown. I saw a tweet this week. He became the 5th Dolphin player ever to have a rushing touchdown, a special teams touchdown, and receiving touchdown.
Wow.
So
good for him, man.
So there are some building blocks there. Let's talk about the Ravens game tomorrow. Like I said, it's always going to be a tough matchup. These are 2-2-6 teams. I think one 2-6 team feels better than the other one, which I think is the Ravens because Lamar's back, Ronnie Stanley's back, Raekwon Smith's back, Kyle Hamilton's back. This is not the team that has been playing the last month of the season. So it's going to be tough. It's probably going to be a frustrating game. Last time, like I see people pointing out, last time we played the Ravens on a short week, we did win. It was a bit of an ugly game. Apologies, 2-5, not 2-6. I did not realize they had their bye.
I'm sure they'll lose a 6th at some point this season.
Yeah. So 2-2-win teams to be a little nicer or more accurate. But yeah, they're getting healthier. I think they're going to make a run. But as I said earlier, I want to keep the positivity going because we haven't had much at all positivity to talk about. But if we play like we did on Sunday, just calling the game, it's going to be a close game. I'll say we lose by 3 points to be optimistic. But I think if we stay to that game plan, it is going to be very, very close. And I would not be shocked if we pull off the win.
I think we lose by a little more than 3. I think the key for the Dolphins is going to be to continue to run the ball.
Yeah.
Keep the defense off the field. Keep Baltimore's possession short. Get a couple stops. Like you're gonna have to make this a game where it's almost the basketball analogy of slowing down and using the play clock to you want this game to be in the teens to 20s. You don't want this game to be, I don't think at least in the 30s. You want to limit the amount of times Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry and Zay Flowers and Rashad Bateman and their 2 tight ends there, Likely and Andrews. I think you want to limit the time those guys are on the field and work, especially early in the game, even if some of those early runs are going for 1 or 2 yards. Give the ball to Achane, give the ball to Ollie Gordon, give the ball to Jalen Wright. Okay, put the ball in guys' hands. Get Waddle maybe on an end around, Malik Washington on 1 or 2 of those orbit dives that they like to run. And I think that you'll see if we run the ball 30 to 40 times, I think the result will be better than if Tua is throwing the ball 30 to 40 times.
Yep. And someone else who was a bit of an unsung hero who I saw Ghost of Adam Gase hyping up, and he deserves it. Hayden Rookie had a very, very good game.
Absolutely. He should be playing constantly.
Yep. Julian Hill's out again this week. I don't know if you saw that. They've already declared him out on a short week. So I think Rookie's going to get elevated again. But he's someone, along with doing the 6 offensive linemen, bringing Bunskill as basically a blocking tight end, use Rookie. I think you got something going there, and I think you go with that until someone shows that it doesn't work anymore. But if we do that, and like you said, shorten the game, I think we did do a pretty good job of that against the Falcons, is shortening the game. I think you can do that, and I think you can keep the optimism going. Might not result in a win, but I think all the fans just want to see look competent. Um, like I hate to go back to Brown's game. I hate to go back to Brown's game, but I was talking to Kevin. I said I knew it was going to be a disastrous game because Mike does not like to run it for some reason consistently. I don't know why, but I knew we would get away from the run, and when everything said you had to. So I didn't want to talk about the team after the Browns week. I was just like, I'm done. Get into draft mode. This gets me back in the season, makes me optimistic, makes me think that the project isn't completely dead.
Brett, I think that there should be a rule in life that when your team loses by 25 points to the Browns, it's okay to take a week off.
Yeah.
It's okay to not think about them, to not talk about them, to not spend your effort and your leisure time talking about them. But I think that the biggest difference that you look at between the Browns game and the Falcons game is we played the Browns game in bad weather. And we threw the ball 31 times and ran the ball 22 times. And I know the script was a little different, and some of those throws, like the 8 with yours, came towards the end of the game. But you're still, even if you take those 8 throws away, it's 23 passes and 22 runs. And then you look at the Atlanta game, we had the ball for 37 minutes against the Falcons, almost 38 minutes. And we ran the ball, 10 more times. We ran the ball 37 times and threw the ball 27 times. If you start getting into a place where you can control the game script in a way that you're running more than you're throwing with this offense, and that's hopefully it has something to do with Frank Smith coming down to the field level. Maybe him being close to McDaniel helps him keep reminding him to run the ball. And as simple as that sounds and as dumbed down as that sounds, I mean, Mike McDaniel's thinking about 100 things a game. And look, at this point, as much as we all want him to, he's great at scripting the game. He's not as good right now, or hasn't been. I think he's been better over the last couple of weeks calling the game. But I think that having somebody like a Frank Smith that'll hopefully be in there going, Coach, remember to run the ball. Coach, remember to run the ball. Coach, do this. Coach, we see that. And it's one thing if it's in your headset. It's another thing if it's right next to you and you see it and you talk about it and you reemphasize it and it's intentional. I think that helps a lot.
Yeah, and this wouldn't be the first time moving a coach somewhere has improved. College and NFL are just riddled with teams that do something as simple as bringing a coordinator down on the field and having someone else up top just to get a better feel for the game and get a better feel for the players. So I can see that making a difference. And that's the thing I thought too.
There are some times, and I'm sorry, I'll let you get back to what you're saying, but there are some teams where it works better with a coordinator in the booth. And there are some times where it works better with the coordinator on the field. And props to McDaniel and Smith and the offensive staff for coming together, talking about it, and making a change. And look, I'm not going to speak for – we have a tough stretch coming up the next 3 weeks. And we might think about this a lot differently in 3 weeks. But I think that they made necessary changes to win a football game, and that's good to say.
Yep. Thoughts on the trade deadline? So I've been thinking about this because everybody wants to talk about the deadline. But I don't think it's going to be, not just from a Fins perspective, but from an NFL perspective, I don't think you're going to see many splash moves. I mentioned this a little bit ago. I saw a tweet a couple weeks ago from someone who covers, I forget which team, but he covers a team in the NFC West. And he said the impression he got from talking to the GMs out there is the teams that have pass rushers want a premium pick, so a day 1 or day 2 pick. And the teams who want to trade for the pass rushers don't want to give up that level of a pick. So I think whether we win or lose, I think it is very likely you see Bradley Chubb go. We don't have any more guaranteed money on his deal after this year. So I think you're more likely to see him. I believe it was Jeremy Fowler from ESPN who said the Dolphins don't really have interest in trading Jalen Phillips. He is a pending free agent, but I kind of think the more I think about it, I think they're going to try and work a show me deal out for him. So I think, like, I know people are going to use this as a fire Greer moment, and there's enough reason to want to fire Greer, so I'm not going to say that's wrong. But I just think that with how the NFL is this year, especially where right now there's no true elite team, it's going to be very hard to make an in-season trade.
So now with what you said, we can officially call the Bradley Chubb deal a bust, right? Giving up
bust is a little strong because we did his second year. He was doing great until the injury, unfortunately. But I would say the return on the ROI was not good. Yes. So if we're looking from an ROI standpoint, no, it was a bust.
Yeah, but I think at the point, like you said, I think win or lose, I think no matter the direction that we're going, you get what you can get for Chubb. Like you said, I think pass rushers are going for premium prices, or that's what's being asked. And I think that once teams start looking for that next year, okay, who's the guy that's not going to cost that premium pick? And I think you'll see Bradley Chubb go to somebody right around the deadline that kind of misses out on the top guy they want. As far as what Mr. S just said about what Phillips will get, yeah, I'd give Phillips about 20.
I would see if you can get less.
You try less. I don't think 20 will be the opening offer. I think the opening offer will be probably 16, 17.
Yeah. It's just, for me personally, as good as Phillips has been, I know I did say this is circumstantial, but he doesn't have what I think his career high in sacks is 8 or 8.5. He's coming off of 2 serious injuries. So it's just hard for me to commit to that. And especially because everybody complains that Chris Greer and the Dolphins get injury prone players. I find it very hard to commit a lot of money to someone who's one of the most injury prone.
I agree. Look, if we tomorrow traded Jalen Phillips for a second round pick, I would say that's a great deal on our part. If tomorrow we extended Jalen Phillips for somewhere in the 17 to 20 million, I would say, look, I love the player. Let's hope that he stays healthy, because this team, if it goes the direction we want it to go, great. He's a great player to have on a good team. But if he's another injury away, remember, he's a guy that medically retired in college. I mean, he's a guy that was coming in with some question marks, and then he's a guy that has had 2 season-ending injuries. And so you just have to be a little wary when it comes to making a guy like that untouchable or giving a guy like that premier money at the position.
Yeah. So really, just the last thing I'll say on the trade deadline, aside from Chubb, unless you get an offer that blows you away, I don't think anybody's getting traded.
If somebody wants Jalen Wright, I could see it. But I don't see that value being there.
Judon, I think Judon is more likely to get cut than traded.
Yeah, I don't think he has value. Minka, but I don't really see it.
Yeah. Wilkins, I would not be against giving Christian Wilkins a look, but I don't know if you've seen or heard anything, Jordan, but I looked earlier this week. Everything's gone radio silent on Wilkins. I don't even know where he's at in his rehab. What I had heard at the beginning of the year is this is around the time he'd be healthy enough to sign with the team. But if that's the case, he is not helping you unless you're making a playoff run this year.
Yeah, I think bringing him back would be more about vibes. I think it would be more about bringing back a player, seeing if he's still got it, seeing if he's a piece. If you sign Christian Wilkins and he's good towards the end of the year and sticks around into next year, that kind of crosses interior D-line off what you need to get. But whatever is going on with Wilkins off the field, that stuff also needs to get cleared up first before you can make that.
Yeah,
but what I do
think that's a rumor, but I don't really know the Judon.
Yeah, I know. that.
Yeah, I've heard people say she went on a podcast, but no one's really come out and been able to show that she did. But that is a common rumor that has been going around on social media.
What I do want to go back to for a second is we were talking about Jalen Phillips and that contract. And I'll pull it up where Mr. S said about $20 million a year. $20 million a year would put him as, I believe, the 15th highest paid defensive or edge rusher.
Yeah, it's not a bit like honestly, if he was healthy, absolutely that's a bargain. It's just the health.
Andrew Van Ginkel's making 23 a year. George Karlaftis is making 22 a year. Rashawn Gary's making 24 a year. Montez Sweat's making about 24 and a half a year. Under that, you got Josh Sweat. Josh Sweat for $19 million is a great deal looking at some of these. Bradley Chubb makes about 18. I could see the Dolphins' initial offer to
Being like
Jalen Phillips being in the area of what Bradley Chubb was getting.
Yeah, no, I think that would be fair. Yeah, now that you read some of the numbers out, I think that would be a fair starting point. If he wants more, I'll be honest, I would take a risk and say, let's get the comp pick at that point.
I mean, look, the Steelers are paying Alex Highsmith $17 million a year. The Bears are paying Deo Adeyingbo $16 million a year. Like, I mean, that's Jalen Phillips is getting more than that. I think Phillips is getting somewhere in the 19 to 22 range.
Yeah. Now, worst case scenario, and of course, I know this would be significantly more because then it would be an average of 5.
Brett, can you say that name?
Which name?
I would like you to say it.
Deo Adeyingbo.
The first name is Dayo. I would like you to say that.
Deo.
The last name is Odeyingbo.
Adebayo.
He's not the center for the Miami Heat.
I didn't say Adebayo. I said Adebayo.
Right, I'm impressed that you knew the center for the Miami Heat.
I can say names. It's just getting the first name wrong.
All right, can you say the best player on the Milwaukee Bucks?
Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Mr. S, clip that, please.
That would be a good clip. Yeah, but what I was going to say is, would you let worst case scenario consider franchising Jalen Phillips?
Yes,
you
absolutely.
Would consider it.
That
even
puts
though
him
it
at what? It'll put him at a 1 year, like $37 million contract.
Yeah, he'd be top 5, which is some people might say is crazy, but I think if you look at what he's done, I still would like to see him dropping into coverage less.
Yeah. Duh.
But that would, like, I think at this point, if he's healthy, you risk it for a year. And the other thing I want to talk about too, before to go away from the Dolphins, well, not really, but also yes, Dolphins, but no, is a little bit talking about the draft. I think what the last week has also done is taken me away from talking quarterbacks to now saying we can actually look at other positions. I'm not saying don't take a quarterback if we're low, if we're high enough in a pick for it. But if Tua plays like he did last week, if he played like he did against for most of the Chargers game, for most of the Patriots game, and just looking at his contract, he's going to be a quarterback next year because it's $90 million in dead cap, I think. At this point, I think we either need to get an offensive lineman, because we can't rely on Austin Jackson to stay healthy anymore, or get a tall wide receiver. And I said this during the game. Jordan Tyson on this team would be very, very tempting.
Yes, he would be. When it comes to the quarterback talk, and like I said to you kind of before we came on, I think that there's Mendoza and Simpson, and they're above the rest. They are 1 and 2. I would be pretty surprised right now if Ty Simpson and Fernando Mendoza are not the number 1 and number 2 picks in whatever order the teams picking 1 and 2 like them. And whether that's a position where somebody trades up or whatever, I think that they're going to go 1 and 2. And I think that if we feel that we need a quarterback, I think if those 2 guys are available when we're on the board, you take them. But I also think that we don't
would not be bad either, Callum.
I don't think that we need to panic and simply draft a guy in the first round at quarterback and miss out on other needs just to do it. Because like you said, no matter what, Tua, barring a pretty crazy trade and us taking on a lot of dead money, he's going to be factored into the makeup of this roster somehow next year. So it would be surprising to see us reach on the 3rd or 4th best quarterback when you can get the best receiver, the 2nd best offensive lineman, or a premier safety in this draft, and a player that's going to add and be a captain on your team for 15 years instead of taking a guy again that wouldn't make an impact next season. But Chris Greer has shown, if he's the one making the pick, that it's not necessarily about the immediate, it's about long term. So at this point, I have no idea what they're going to do.
I will say this: if we draft and Caleb Downs is available, I would be very disappointed if we passed on Caleb Downs.
Yes. But I think we're pretty sure that we're going to get one of Caleb Downs, one of the 2 tackles, either the Miami kid or the Alabama kid, Ruben Bain.
Or Spencer Fano from Utah. I like him pretty good.
Or Fano. Keldrick Falk from Auburn, who seems to be pretty high up there, and Peter Woods. Or Jermod McCoy from Tennessee, or Jordan Tyson, like you said. I think that's kind of the core of players. And look, this isn't the strongest draft, but I think that there are going to be some of those guys that we start looking at as we get closer to draft day, saying that we're going to be able to add a pretty damn good football player to this team.
Oh, absolutely. And again, Tyson, Boston, Carnell Tate, they all do stuff that our wide receivers just don't do right now. Something that only really Darren Waller was doing, but he's out for 4 weeks. We need someone who can high point the ball.
Yes. And I think that having Darren Waller for a little bit, and Brazel from Tennessee is another guy at 6'5". He also plays basketball for Tennessee. I think that's if I'm thinking of the right guy. But you're looking at a guy that can high point the ball. Oh, no, I'm thinking the LSU kid is the one that also plays basketball. But you want a former basketball player, big receiver that can go up and high point the ball and get the ball and do the things you said, because that'll make Jalen Waddle better, and it'll make Malik Washington better, and it'll make Tua better. You have to, by the end of day 2 of next year, you have to get a big receiver.
Yep. And the thing I'll say is this.
Chris Bell is another one.
Chris Bell's another one, too. He's very good. Whether you like Tua or not, something that is undeniable is if Tua isn't perfect, our passing game goes to shit. Yeah. This is not meant as a knock on Tua, but we need someone who can make the tough play in the passing game, and we really just don't have that. Tyreek kind of could, but he doesn't have the height, and he didn't really have reliable hands the last couple years, and he's not going to be back. I know. I don't care what Drew Rose now says. He's not going to be ready for next year, and if he is or not, he's not going to be a Dolphin next year. But you just need someone that can do that, because the one thing I will say is I'm tired of people saying, oh, this quarterback can do this. This quarterback can do this. A lot of these quarterbacks that can move around, if they're not named Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes, this year Drake May, they can move around and they can extend plays, but they're not making these plays consistently outside of 2 to 3 guys. So we can't just fall in love with those highlights. But the thing all of them have are wide receivers that can make the tough catch.
Absolutely.
So we do need that.
And I'm looking at this, and you talk about Jordan Tyson, and he's the guy, obviously, that's at the top of the draft boards right now. But you have Jordan Tyson, who's 6'2", 200. You have Chris Brazel, who's 6'5", 200. You have Carnell Tate, is 6'3", 200. Denzel Boston is 6'4", 210. Chris Bell is 6'2", 220. Nick Harbor is 6'5", 235. Elijah Surratt, 6'2", 210. Jacoby Lane, 6'4", 200. Journey Bernard from Alabama is 6'1", 205. And I can keep going. I mean, you have more guys here. You have a lot of big-bodied receivers in this draft that actually fits in perfectly to where you can take that defensive player or that lineman in the first round and still come back with whatever that pick is that's probably going to be around 40 and take one of those other receivers. Like, I would love to see us get a star player in the first round and then like an Elijah Surratt or somebody like that in the second round.
Yeah. No, he is not back next year, and he's very cuttable. I think even if he didn't get hurt, I think his contract was set up that this was going to be Tyreek's last year with the Dolphins.
And I think that him getting hurt only more so confirms that, unfortunately.
Now, to go back to Ozzy's comment about Jonah, yes, he had a good game. I was actually surprised so many people were still down on him. Yes, he still got beat a time or two. But like I said earlier, you are seeing the high-end potential. He got called out a lot for some really good plays on some really good blocks in some of our bigger plays on Sunday. I think a big part, and we said it, running the ball just makes life easier for the offensive line. And I think you saw that with him, is allowed him to get comfortable. And you didn't see him getting, I don't want to say blown up, because he doesn't really get blown up that much in games. There are plays he does get blown up, so I'm not saying it doesn't happen. But you're not seeing him oversetting. You're not seeing him have the technical issues because he's getting in a groove in the run game. So while Jonah has been worse than I could have ever imagined to start the year, I still think you see the high-end potential, and it's all been technique related. I do think part of the reason we were a lot better on Sunday is we simplified the blocking scheme. You're not seeing them do the Eric points this out in his videos all the time, where we're just having our offensive linemen hit a guy and then move up the field. You didn't see that as much. You saw a lot more sealing guys off, or once a guy was sealed off, then you move. So I am not worried about Jonah as much. He went from an insult to being called a traffic cone to being a normal rookie.
Brett, is this true?
I don't think I could do a haka, and I don't want to insult our Polynesian fans.
What if we get a Polynesian person to say that they're okay with you doing it shirtless?
I do not want to do a haka.
All right, Mr. S. Carpet Dinosaur, back to figuring out something else that Brett could do to open next show if we win.
Yeah. I will think about doing something for the show if we win, but a haka, nah, that ain't happening. For one, I don't have room behind me. So
yeah, you can move. Is that a desktop computer or is that a laptop?
It's a laptop.
Oh, Brett, you can move.
I'll think about it.
Okay. We're gonna pressure Brett into this. You still
have you what
Carpet Dinosaur yet?
What's up?
Have you eaten the hot thing on air yet?
I did. It's on the YouTube channel.
Oh, that's right. It is on the YouTube. Yeah. Tell people where they can find that. Shameless.
Just go to YouTube and look up the List Fins Pod, and you can see my 1,000 follower challenge where I ate the extra spicy Indian ramen, and that actually really hurt. That sucked. It actually did suck.
Brett, speaking of follower count, we are approaching 2,000. I think the last time I checked, we're a little over 1,700. What are we going to do for 2,000?
Maybe I'll do the hockey when we get to 2,000, or haka.
You think that you have a better chance of doing more of a chance of doing the haka if we beat the Ravens with Lamar Jackson coming back on?
Tell you what, no, we're not.
But you're going to make the deal for when we get 2,000 followers? 2,000 followers, that's coming by the end of the season. Yeah. The beating the Ravens might not.
Tell you what.
Brett, you need a better Lottie. That was a bad deal you just made.
When we get to 2,000, I will get my hair highlighted or dyed or something.
I love it. What color? Can our 2000th follower pick what color you dye your hair?
Tell you what, we'll put a poll up, and you guys can put the poll up. Whatever the poll says, I will dye my hair.
Okay, Mr. S.
No pink. I'm not doing pink. I got to keep it no green or anything like that. I got to keep it
What's wrong with green?
I got to go into an office and meet with people. I can't have my hair green.
Wash it out of your hair the next day.
Okay, yeah, I'll go. Fine, whatever. Just make a poll. I will, once we get to 2000, I will go buy dye and dye my hair a color.
Mr. S, start the campaign. Yeah, you've offended Green Machine, Brett. I mean, Dick.
Nothing wrong with green. It's my favorite color. I just don't want my hair green.
Mr. S, start the campaign. When we get to 2,000 followers, Brett will allow us to create a poll, and Brett will dye his hair whatever the color is. And I will wear a shirt that is the color of Brett's hair. Let's not show that one.
Yeah. Oh. So, but yes, I will do that as celebration for 2,000 followers.
Okay. Good.
All right. So as we get
Brett,
to the
one more question. Okay. And I was sitting here thinking about it when you were talking about them. Right now we're slotted 5th. Okay. I think 5th is probably we'll probably finish a little lower because I think
5 to 12.
I don't know if we get all the way to 12, but because I mean, look, you have 3 really tough games coming up here against 3 mobile quarterbacks. Then it evens up, and I think you beat New Orleans. I think you beat the Jets. And then you have 4 teams. I mean, other than 3 out of 4 that are competing for playoff spots. So I think we have a tough. I see 1, 2, 3. I think we go 3-6, 2-7 the rest of the way. So I mean, okay. So let's say we're about 8. Okay, let's say the 2 quarterbacks are gone.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and then you got
Caleb Downs will probably be gone at that point.
Downs was gone. Bain is gone. And let's say whoever our top 2 offensive linemen are gone at that point. So you have essentially the edge rusher from Auburn, Jordan Tyson, and then whoever your 3rd tackle is, and then whoever your 1st corner is. Right now, are you really that comfortable in the top 10 going with Jordan Tyson?
I am. I think if you're so how I would do it if you're saying we're picking 8th, I think Spencer Furneaux's gone too. Maybe the Miami kid. So at that point, you're looking at Jordan Tyson and probably Caden Proctor. Then I'll be honest, I haven't really looked at the cornerback class that much, but from what I've seen, I would probably go Jermod McCoy from Tennessee.
You know what I really like about Jordan Tyson? And look, it's a simple, well, yeah, he does have a great name. He scores touchdowns, man. Like he had 10 last year. He has 8 this year. I saw them put him at the top point in the Wildcat. Like they do a lot of things with him. They move him around. Like he's a playmaker, man. And I would love to get him on this football team. Like he's a guy. He has 630 yards receiving in 7 games already. He has 8 touchdowns in 7 or 9 touchdowns in 7 games. I mean, come on. He had 10 touchdowns in 12 games last year. Get this guy on the field and let him go. He's a guy that right now I think is going to be very high on a lot of teams' boards.
Yep. 2 other names I'll throw out there that are positions we haven't really talked about. Despite Jordan Brooks playing really well, I would look at Arvell Reese from Ohio State, linebacker.
Yes.
Kibo from our Discord compares him to Micah Parsons, where he plays Mike right now, but he can probably move to the edge. So he's basically like Micah Parsons, like Abdul Carter. But he's a playmaker I would love on this defense. And you know how long I've been asking for a tight end. This might be a little bit of a reach at 8, but I would start looking at Kenyon Sadiq too.
You know we're not taking a tight end in the first round. And no. I might even, Brett, I might make it illegal to talk about tight ends on this podcast in the draft this season. It's ridiculous. We're not taking one, and you know it.
Well, this is going to be the year we are going to take one. There's only like 3 worth taking, but
We
this
skipped
might be the year we finally
the
take it.
best drafts for tight ends. Every time I watch Tucker Kraft, who I get as a 16th rounder in my keeper league, thank you very much. It makes me sick. It makes me sick knowing that we should have had that guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We
But
should have had a lot of them. I watch a
we should've.
lot of them and say we should have had that guy.
yeah. And ironically, the one that we did took a couple of years ago that we cut, Elijah Higgins has turned into a fairly solid tight end in Arizona.
Crazy.
But before we get out of here, back to the Baltimore game, for the Dolphins to win, what player has to have a good game?
It's going to sound crazy, but Jonas Avenaya.
You know what's funny is I was thinking about that too.
Alec Ingold. Devon Achane. Tua, obviously. But Jonah is the guy that if Jonah has a good game, if Jonah has a good game, I think we're going to be in a position where we can make some noise.
I will say this. If Ollie Gordon has 15 touches, we win the game.
Brett, what's your score prediction?
I will say we lose by 3, and it's going to be 27-24.
I will say it will be 34-20 Baltimore.
Oh. And for the 93 people following us and joining us, we thank you as always. Hopefully, we will be back next week talking about a win. As Jordan said, we have a couple very tough games coming up. A couple weeks we're going to be in, well, the Dolphins, not us, but we're going to be in Madrid. It would be great if we were going to Madrid, but
not this year.
Yeah, not this year. But everybody enjoy your Halloween, have fun, and yes, Carpet Dinosaur, you can have your job back. But have a good weekend and a good night, everybody. Go Fins, and hopefully we're celebrating on Thursday night.
Go Dolphins. Brett's doing the haka on Friday.
We'll see about that.